Hey, welcome back everyone. I'm Joel, and today we're going to make a cute, adorable little ninja in Adobe Illustrator. It's going to look a lot like these two friends. So let's take a moment and look at the tools we're going to use, and then we will go step by step on how to create these adorable little lovable ninjas. So first off, we are going to review the Ellipse tool. We're going to look at how to create compound shapes like this body or this body using a combination of the rectangle tool, the direct select tool to round off corners, and what's called the shape builder tool over here. Important note, you probably want to memorize the keyboard command to select these tools. It is Shift M to get the shapes builder tool. Now it's a little easier to remember if you remember that the rectangle tool is simply the letter M. We will also look at the preview mode so that we can review any like errors or problems that we expect for laser cutting and talk about how to fix those. All right, really that's about it. We will use the pen tool also a little bit, but it's pretty simple, and let's get started, shall we? So I'm gonna go ahead and close that. I'm gonna make a new file. I'm gonna go with A4 because, well, I always like to print or have it available to print. I want units in millimeters, as always, as I'm a design teacher. We're gonna go with a orientation of widescreen or landscape to match our computer screens. I'm gonna press OK or create. Now here in Illustrator, we wanna make sure we have several things happening. First off, we need to make sure we have our properties over here on the right, your tools available on the left, and the control bar across the top. If you do not have any of these, you need to go to the window menu and make sure that controls is checked, make sure that properties is checked, and make sure your toolbars is set to basic. It's very possible you have a lot more tools, and that's okay, but it might make it a little bit challenging to find the same tools I am, and frankly, this tutorial is for beginners. Okay, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to turn on my grid by going to the Show Grid option in the View menu and turning that on. Also Command apostrophe. I want my grids to be set at 1 centimeter squares that are cut in half. If yours are not the same, go to the Illustrator menu, go to Settings, Guides, and Grid, and you can then change your grid spacing to be every 10 millimeters or 1 centimeter with a division in between. So set divisions to 2, that will give you a halfway line. Now, you do not need this one to have snap turned on. If you like working with a snapped grid, go back to view and turn on snap. But while we're here in the view menu, also make sure you have smart guides turned on. All right, let's begin. First thing we're going to do is make the body of our ninja. To do that, we're going to use the rectangular tool or rectangle tool. I click one time and I'm just going to type it in 50 by 60, press OK. From there, I'm going to create a couple of rectangles that are going to be used for the legs. Now this one, I am indeed going to just eyeball this because, well, this is meant to be a little bit of art as well as design work. And this particular one doesn't matter as long as it's proportional, right? We don't want legs on our ninjas that are a mile long or anything silly. So we're just gonna go proportional after we get that body created. So here's my first leg, and then I'm going to then zoom in a bit and round the corners. Now I can round every corner all at once with my selection tool by grabbing this little circle inside each angled corner and just dragging and pulling it in. Now, how far to go is up to you. Feel free to customize your project as you go. I'm just going to give mine about a 5 millimeter curve, maybe a little more. Let's go about a 6.5. There we go. I'm then going to copy this. I'm just going to hold over the Option key on my keyboard and drag over a copy to create the second leg. I'm going to Option drag a third time to get an arm. I'm going to rotate it again using my selection tool. And since arms are a little bit thinner, I'm just going to resize that a bit. Next, I'm going to copy yet again for the, oh, look at that, for the other arm, and I'm just going to move that right over there. And that actually works pretty nice for the ninja. Now, as far as his head goes, I'm now going to switch to our Ellipse tool, keyboard letter L on the keyboard, Ellipse. And it can be kind of hard to draw an ellipse that fits perfectly. What I'm going to do, as I drag, I'm going to hold down the Option key again. And this is going to give us a perfect circle. And it's lined up right with the body. It's not quite where I want it to be, so I'm now going to switch to my Selection tool again, and I'm going to drag it down. And I think I'm going to resize it a little bit and reposition it. And yeah, it's still a little small. I'm going to reposition it again. Perfect. That looks fantastic. Now then, I'm going to take a moment and I'm going to play with the arms and the legs. I'm just going to rotate them a little bit and see what position or stance works for my ninja. I think that's it. That looks great. Next, I want to change the color of the ninja's outfit. So I'm going to select all the parts using my Select tool. I'm going to double click on the Fill tool, and I'm going to select a color that works for me. Now, you might have a specific requirement from a customer, client, friend, whoever, or just pick the one that you like the best. I'm going to go with a baby blue ninja this time. All right. From here, because I'm going to start as kind of an art project, I do actually want to increase the size of my strokes over here. So I select my stroke and then I go up to the controls and I'm going to increase it to just 2 points. This just gives my character a little more artistic definition. But stop right there. If your goal is to laser cut this, and I want to emphasize this right now, so please listen up. If your goal is to laser cut this, then the stroke thickness does not matter. Your laser probably will not see the stroke and it will be completely ignored. Color can make a difference if your laser is programmable. You can program your laser to operate at different power or speed levels depending on the color. But in our case, the color does not matter, neither does the size. That's only for visual aesthetic. Right? We'll go ahead and get rid of those laser later when we prepare this for laser cutting. But for now, we'll just keep going. I'm ready to go ahead and make the mask. Now this is a really cool little trick. There's several ways we can do this, but I'm going to switch back to my Ellipse tool, keyboard letter L, and I'm going to find the center point of the mask. I'm going to hold down that Option key on my keyboard, and I'm going to drag out a circle or an ellipse that fits the shape of the character's head, rather. Now that looks pretty good. I'm going to leave some space down below for the chin, the nose, and I'm going to pull it up just a little bit. Now right now it looks kind of like I'm making like an alien face or something, which is kind of weird. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to make another ellipse. I'm dragging a copy out with my Selection tool, and I'm moving it on top of the first one, and I'm making it bigger, and I'm going to put it on top. If I just have these two pieces, it kind of looks like a hat, like a high school or college graduation hat. Now that we've got these, I'm going to go ahead and use that shape builder tool that I talked about. It works by combining two or more shapes together by looking for overlapping pieces. Now I'm going to move these off to the side just so you can see what I mean. I'm going to go to my shape builder tool and I'm going to combine the top two. That leaves now just two pieces. The bottom one is completely separate, which means I can take the top one and delete it. So that's what we're going to do to our ninja head here. I'm going to select those two pieces again. Shape Builder, Shift M is the keyboard. I'm going to merge the top two, select the top one, only the top one, and delete it. Now I'm going to go ahead and change the skin tones here. Double click my fill. I'm going to find a skin tone that works for me. I'm going to go for something like that. Haha, I like it. And now I'm ready to put some eyeballs in there. I'm going to zoom in. I'm just going to use the Ellipse tool. I'm going to drag out two small ellipses, copy, copy. And here with these two circles, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of the stroke. So I select my stroke and I push this little white box with a red line. That red line means no color, no fill, no stroke. So we're going to get rid of that. And then I'm going to change the fill to whatever color I want. And I'm just going to go with a black. So there's my character with some dark black eyes. Now, this is looking really cute so far. But as I said, we want to prepare this for laser cutting. And again, if we go put in a piece of blue acrylic into our laser and start to cut this out, we are not going to have 2 legs, 2 arms, a body, a head. What we're really going to have is about 15 or 16 different pieces that we have to put together like a puzzle. How do I know? Well, there's a cool trick in Illustrator. If we go up to our View menu at the top of the screen and we choose Outline, Command Y, this is going to show us all the paths without strokes, without fill colors, with no distractions. And we can see everywhere a path is overlapping another path, the laser is going to cut that. So it would cut this leg, for example, it would cut this rectangle, and where they are overlapping each other would cut into a new piece of acrylic, and they would all fall apart. So what I want to do is combine the arms that are sticking out, the legs, and the body. So I select those 4 pieces: arm, body, leg, other leg. And I switch to my shape builder, and I now drag a line through them, combining those into one shape. We can see when I do that now, the lines that separate them are gone. Now, what do I do with the head? This one gets challenging. I clearly don't want to cut out a line straight across the face here. So I'm going to select the face, I'm going to select the body, and this time I'm going to use my shape builder and I'm going to combine that part of the body with the mask. And we can see now that that line that went through before is now curving underneath. I can even move it out of the way to see that. So if I were to go cut this out of acrylic, that would not be lost. However, we do have a problem with the body line here going through the head. That means as the blue acrylic got cut from here, then so would the body cut here, and the chin area becomes another piece. So I'm now going to select the head and the body, and I'm going to use that shape builder again to combine that upper part of the body with the head. And there it is. I'm going to also do that with the arm over here. So I select the head, I select the arm, I go to my shape builder, and I combine that. And you see now that we are slowly combining pieces until we have only the body parts that we want with no overlapping sections. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Now, if I turn this view off, I go back to View, you're going to see we probably have a lot simpler looking picture. And that is fine, because if I go cut this now on the laser, this would be cut as a circle, this would be cut, that would be cut. But the face here does present a problem. And that's okay. What we would do is when we cut the circle here, we would also use this path. We would use it as a guide to cut a hole. Then we'd take a gray or brown piece of acrylic or whatever color we want for the face, and we would cut a smaller piece and then inlay the two together, right? So that's actually exactly what we want. When you're looking at this preview mode, you just want to make sure what you do not have are paths overlapping each other like this. All right, this is going to create a lot of problems. So get rid of all those overlapping paths with that shape builder tool. Excellent. Now, what kind of ninja would be complete without a ninja weapon? Let's give him a simple staff. A simple staff, very easy. To do that, I'm going to grab my rectangle tool and I'm going to draw myself a nice wooden staff across his hands. I'm going to turn it just a little bit to make it kind of fun. There we go. That's it. If I was just going to print this, I could call it quits. But again, if I wanted to inlay these as, acrylic pieces on like a wall sign or something on a floor or a tabletop, and I want a flat, surface, I need to make sure each piece lays down inside the other pieces. and we're gonna have to fix these overlapping paths. So if I go back to my outline view, we can see right now how if I cut this, it's gonna cut straight through the body. Or another way to think of it is I have to have a hole where those hands and arms are. I've got to have a place that I can set this staff in without like stacking it on top of my Ninja. So I'm going to select all those parts. I'm going to get my shape builder and I'm just going to drag straight across, combining all those pieces into one. And there it is. See that? We've just kind of cut a hole through the hands, the arm, and the body, but that's exactly what we want. That way, when we go laser cut the blue pieces, we have a hole right here so that we can put the staff in there and glue it all together however we want. And that is it. With a little bit of time and patience and practice, my friends, you will soon be able to create more complicated images like these ninjas here. How did I make these bladed weapons? Scary. Simply use the pen tool. So I'll zoom over here and I'll give an example. I switch to my pen tool, the letter P on your keyboard, and I click inside my staff and I drag the pen tool to define whatever shape I want. And here what I'm making is something called a cudgel. It's kind of a medieval era weapon. All right, so I've drawn what is now going to be the blade tip. I'm going to change it to a light gray, for example. And we can see, though, we've got an overlapping piece here, right? Again, if we go back to our preview mode, Command Y, outline rather, we can see where they're overlapping, and that's a problem. So I would select both shapes with my select tool, and then I would go back to my shape builder, and I'm going to combine this piece here all together. I don't want the blade to be visible over the staff, right? I want it coming out of the staff. So I click on the staff and I connect this piece so that the blade now pokes out perfectly at the edge of it. Okay, we can see that now when I go back to preview. There it is. But hey, the color changed. Yes, that will sometimes happen for a variety of reasons. The good thing is it's rather easy to change these back and just takes seconds. So there you go. So yep, once again, play with it, experiment with it, see what works for you, and have a lot of fun as you just develop your Illustrator skills, exploring it like a hobby. All right? Let me know what you think in the comments. If you discovered something really awesome, tell me about it. If you got a question or have a problem, post that and I'll try to get back to you. Otherwise, thank you for watching. I'm Joel. Take care and have fun illustrating. Bye-bye.